All right, what's up, co-counsels? I am exhausted. I'm exhausted, but we need to get into Nick Kossatis, okay? Let me share my screen. One moment. All right, so Nick was convicted today. Swift jury deliberations, they did not take long at all. I think that was expected. I was not caught off guard. Last night I did say that. What's up, Benji? Sorry, Benji. I had to push the live stream back. I'm exhausted today. I'm tired. I'm tired, so I had to take time to eat and just chill and feed my kid and all of that. Hopefully you're having a good Thursday. Yeah, Nick Kossatis, he was convicted today. I tuned in a little bit, did not watch victim impact statements, but last night I did say that I had an expectation that he would be convicted today. It's just the evidence was very clear from the beginning. It was an open and shut case. So, based on that, I think I want to reshuffle my order of impressive prosecutors. Because last night I had moved to, let me find her name. I'm going to play this video. Let me find her name. I need to find is the prosecutor's name in here? Nope, I don't see it. But let me find the prosecutor's name.
Vague.
To the jury and that they do not wish to have them extracted. They wish them to.
What's going on here? I don't know what that is, but let's find out. Let me find Nicholas Kossatis. Nicholas. Come on.
These proceedings located on this are the electronic data that could not have otherwise been given in a physical form. There are also exhibits on here that I have articulated throughout the course of the trial, including the exhibits I used to refresh recollection, search warrants, things of that nature. Counsel and I have reviewed it. There is nothing on this USB other than what was used during trial. Counsel, do you agree to that?
Oh my goodness. They interviewed Doug Weinstein. Doug Weinstein is out there telling Core TV that his client was genuinely in fear. We'll get to that if we have enough time, but I'm trying to find this prosecutor's name.
Correct, Your Honor.
We've also gone through all of the physical evidence, Your Honor, meaning the exhibits and the documents. There are four exhibits that have been removed. They are 1.109.
That's crazy. Nick Kossatis has made it to people.com. So, I don't know. No bueno.
1.111, 1.110, and 1.117 because they were demonstrative only.
Okay.
I have talked to counsel about the evidence in terms of the forensic crime laboratory reports, as those could be considered continuing witness. Counsel and his client have communicated. They have determined that it is in their best interest to submit those to the jury and that they do not wish to have them extracted. They wish them to go back.
State agrees?
I don't have an objection, Judge. They're welcome to go back to the jury.
Okay.
That would include the autopsy, all the reports from the DNA analysts. That would include the reports from the toolmark expert, as well as the other experts, in this case, toxicology and so on. And counsel, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that was after talking to your client as well?
That is correct.
All right, very well, then those exhibits will go out to the jury.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The only question we had somewhat, Judge, was physical evidence. There are things like bloodstain cards, things of that nature. Counsel and I have talked about it, the totes themselves. Those things were touched by the crime laboratory and obviously are still potentially not something that they should potentially get without maybe some.
Ponder. So the I need to screenshot her name because I'm probably gonna forget. Yeah, I think I'm gonna forget. Okay, so her name is Lori Bio. That is the name of the assistant district attorney in this case. So again, last night I had changed. What's up, Brooklyn? Brooklyn says, how's everybody's day? My day was decent. I'm just tired. I had a really, really long day. That's why I had to push the live back because I had to feed myself. I had to feed my daughter. Benji, I'm pretty sure Benji's working. And how are you doing, Brooklyn? Brooklyn says that she's from New York. Yeah, so last night, I had her at the top of my list for the best prosecutors I've seen this year. I'm actually going to bump her down a little bit. I'm going to put her in second place. The reason I'm going to put her in second place is because she actually had an open and shut case. Okay. Oh, so Benji's not working today. My bad. Benji just hanging out and listening to me babble. Yeah. So I'm gonna put Lori Bio in second place. My first place is still going to remain the man out of Massachusetts. I forgot his name. What is that man's name again? I wanted to say Barron. I don't know who Barron is. Man, the prosecutor, the special counsel in the Karen Reed trial. That is still my first place because that was a difficult case. For Lori, she did a good job, but this was open and shut. From opening, it was very clear. I was like, I don't know. From opening, I did not know what on earth they were going to introduce to counter what the prosecution said. They did not have big scandals in this case. They did not have a Michael Proctor. They did not have, somebody or a witness that was problematic. The closest they came to a problematic witness is probably Heather Thomas. Um, who's Spanky? I don't know who Spanky is. Heather Thomas, when, during cross examination or when it was revealed that she got married or remarried a day after the divorce was finalized, other than that, the case had no real drama, no real issues. It had a lot of twists and turns, though. The facts were just, ugh. But other than that, yeah, she had an easy job. So first place remains first place. There we go. Hank Brennan. There we go. Yeah, first place remains Hank Brennan. And then I will give Lori Bio second. And then for third, we can go with the older prosecutor in the ASAP Rocky trial. I forgot that prosecutor's name too. And then when I was at work today, you'd think I don't have enough work to keep me busy, right? When I was at work, I was thinking about, okay, who makes my list for defense attorneys based on defense attorneys we've seen this year. Very beginning, we're not even going to argue about this, okay? Best defense attorneys I've seen so far, the public defenders. Shout out to all public defenders. The public defenders in the Colin Griffith case. To me, that's the best job I've seen all year. And they did a good job. They had zero scandals. All they did was really just argue the law. So I like that about that case. And I think that prosecutor, shout out to that prosecutor too. I need to write these people's names down. Actually, I'm going to give him third position. And the older prosecutor in the ASAP Rocky trial, he's being bumped to fourth. I forgot about that man. He was cool, calm, collected. I'll find these names and we'll figure it out. Uh Brooklyn said, "Tell me you're not for real." I'm for real. He's very skilled. He's very skilled. That was the case was problematic. Anyways, as far as defense attorneys, the public defenders in the Colin Griffith case, both neck and neck. As far as second, I need to give it a bit more thought. You guys know I do like what's the guy? He went to Albany Law School. He was on the Karen Reed trial. He mostly does civil litigation. The names are escaping me. I like him too, but he has nothing on those public defenders. Anyways, let's get into this. You guys know I can babble. Let's get into this. As far as next trial, I don't know where we're going from here. Because I tried to watch a little bit of this Thanksgiving Day murder, whatever. I don't know where on earth they were going. I did see one of the prosecutors from the YSL trial. I don't remember her name. She gave the closing argument. I don't remember her name. There was another trial going on. I don't know. I don't know where we're going from here. Well, we'll figure it out though.
Interaction with the court. So we're going to ask that the documentary and physical, like photographs, things of that nature, can go back with them. I don't have an objection or need a note for that. But if they wanted to, for
Okay, hold
example,
on.
see the knife.
What's
Not
going on?
guilty should be considered as evidence. The defendant is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. The defendant enters upon the trial of
His parents, I just
criminal homicide shall be considered as death in the county in which the death occurred. If a dead body is discovered in this state and cannot be readily determined in what county the cause of death was inflicted,
who's he? Okay, something's
it's
going
you,
on.
Mr. Weinstein. This doesn't.
Oh no, she's just yawning. My bad. She is just yawning. What is he snacking on? What's going on? Oh, all right. Come on. Yeah, and as for Doug Weinstein, he's definitely the worst lawyer I've seen thus far. Um, listen, Lori Vallow Daybell, I will give her a higher position than Doug Weinstein. She asked some better questions, but Doug, they should not give him any more criminal cases. No more, no more. This is his last case. Don't give him anything else again. Oh, jury deliberations. Focus, girl. Focus. All right, let's go. Let's go. Hold on. All right.
Come in.
Apparently, according to Reddit, Nick was twitching the whole time. I don't know what that means, but who's this lady? Brooklyn might know her. I've seen her a lot in the courtroom. We know who she is. Come on. What's the population in Liberty County? Let's see. Oh, I see her now. I see Lori bio. I am on what is this? LinkedIn, and I see that she graduated from Brooklyn Law School. That does not mean she's from New York though. Yeah, that doesn't mean. Let's take a closer look. I mean, that's where she went to school. Does not mean that's where she's from, but Brooklyn knows better than I do. Let's just quickly take a look here. Okay, so she started out as an assistant district attorney in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. And then she moved on to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. Dang, how old is she? She started out in 1996, okay? She worked there for about 5 years. Then she moved on to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office a little over 4 years. And then she worked for a place called Hogan and Hartson, some law firm. Apparently, it says contract. She did that for 11 months. And then she went on to DC. She was the associate director for Barbary. Barbary is a company. They do bar review. They prepare law students for the bar exam. They have a bunch of material X, Y, and Z. Okay, so after DC, this is around 2012. She then moves to Georgia. In Georgia, she lived in Savannah, Georgia, and she worked for Barbary again. She was an independent consultant. Okay, she did that for a year and a half. And then she was a director for Famous Bar Review. That's a different company. Year and 5 months. I wonder why she'd do that because she's an excellent attorney. Anyway, so after that, we're back around 2015. She goes back to New York and it says Lex Solution LLC. I don't know. There's a mention of some law firms here. I don't know what any of that means. Okay, just says conducted electronic document review to identify privilege and responsive material in connection with discovery demand. I don't know why she did that, but she did. That actually sounds like oh, what are they called? I forgot. A lot of these companies hire folks to just review discovery. There's a specific name. My mind is fried. Anyways, 2016 for 6 months. She's still in New York. She's a staff attorney for some law firm, litigation department. Okay, so she did some corporate work. Okay, that did not last though, just 6 months. She goes back. No, not the Bronx. She's in Brooklyn. So she's with the Kings County District Attorney's Office a little over 3 years. And then in 2020, so this might have something to do with COVID, maybe. So in 2020, she then moves to Savannah, Georgia, and she's a lead assistant district attorney there. And then she moves to a place called Hinesville, Georgia. That's in August of 2022. And that's what she currently does. So she's been a prosecutor most of her career. And I mean, it does show she definitely knew her case. All right, let's see. Alessi, there we go. Yeah, Alessi was top tier for sure, for sure. Okay. Oh yeah, Adelson is starting on the 19th, I believe. Luigi Mangione, I don't think there's anything going over there. I don't think there's anything going on with Luigi. I've seen a few headlines, but there's no way that case is going to trial this year. Yeah, Adelson, that's where we're going. That's where we're going. Oh, that's a victim advocate. Got it. Okay. She makes a victim impact say, I don't know. Let's watch. Let's watch. Enough talking from me. Enough blabbing. Today's what? The 14th? Yesterday was National Left-Handers Day. So I don't know if you know any left-handed folks. You should have wished them a happy lefty hand. All right, let's see. 8:13. No, 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 no. Alexa, what's today's date?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, sir, are you the foreman of the jury? It's my understanding that the jury has reached foreman of the jury. It's my understanding that the jury has reached a verdict.
I mean, when they come back this quick, the writing is on the wall. Hopefully, the writing on. I don't know. This is Nick though, so I don't.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Is it a unanimous verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has it been reduced to writing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you signed and dated it as the foreman of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you would please hand the verdict form to the bailiff. I ask that the deputy clerk publish the verdict.
In the Superior Court of Liberty County, State of Georgia, case number 2024 R-67, State of Georgia versus Nicholas James Kossatis. Count 1, malice murder, guilty. Count 2, felony murder, guilty. Count 3, aggravated assault, guilty. Count 4, concealing death. That goes to Doug Weinstein's hand. I give him credit for that.
Other, guilty.
Yeesh.
Count 5, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony, guilty. Count 6, possession of a tool for the commission of a crime, guilty. Count 7, possession of a tool for the commission of a crime, guilty. Count 8, possession of a tool for the commission of the crime, guilty. Count 9, possession of a tool for the commission of a crime, guilty. Count 10, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, guilty. Count 11,
Okay, go back,
removal
go
of
back.
tools for the commission of,
I guess, are those the jurors? I suppose so. Why would-
crime, guilty. Count 11, removal of the body parts from the scene of the death, guilty.
Okay, who's this person, Brooklyn? Who's the lady in the black top? Or maybe that's a sister-in-law. Maybe that's a sister-in-law.
Count 12, tampering with the scene of the death, guilty.
Looks like
Count 11, removal of the body parts from the scene of the death, guilty. Count 12, tampering with evidence, guilty. On this 14th day of August 2025.
Do the attorneys wish to see the verdict to make sure that it's in proper form?
No, Your Honor.
And are there any objections to the form of the verdict?
No, Your Honor.
Are there any other requests before we go into another hearing?
so. Mindy's loved ones.
No request from the defense, Your Honor.
If I can just have one moment, Your Honor.
Who's this, Brooklyn? The lady that's wiping tears away. Let's see. Oh, really? Are you a lefty? Had I known that, I would have wished you what is this? A happy National Left-Handers Day. Well, that makes you what, the fourth, fifth person that I know that's left-handed. All right. Let's see. They are the smartest. Okay, those eye twitching scare Brooklyn. Okay. Brooklyn, what were they going to pull? What were they going to pull? There's nothing here. They deliberated in an hour and 17 minutes and 12 counts. As far as Nick Kossatis, though, the conviction, maybe the possession charges get overturned, okay? We've had a discussion about the crime of possession before, and he was not actually found in possession of any of these items. Sure, the prosecutor made the argument that I guess some form of constructive possession, or he otherwise would have been in possession of those tools in order to carry out the offenses. But I don't know. He might be able to get the possession counts or the possession convictions overturned. We'll wait and see, though. I don't know that that doesn't do him any favors because he's, it's just not going to do him any favors because the most serious charges are the murder charges. There's some distance here as far as the brother and everybody else. I don't know. There's some disconnect. There's, distance even as far as the sitting arrangement. I don't know what that's about, but I'm curious to find out. I've probably told him that before.
Nothing concerning the jury, Your Honor.
All right. And does either side wish to place anything on the record before I excuse the jury?
No, Your Honor, and I also don't seek to poll, just for the
Both
record.
parents. They're the parents.
No, Your Honor, and I also don't seek to poll, just for the record.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've been here almost 2 weeks, and I wish to thank each and every one of you for your service. It is one of the highest forms of civic duty that any citizen can render to this state and this country, and we cannot resolve important cases like this without your willingness to serve. You've been diligent. You've been here every morning on time. You've been taking notes. You have done excellent work as a juror in this case, and it is sincerely appreciated, not only by me, but everybody involved in the criminal justice system. Your duty ends at this point, and I'm going to have to go into a sentencing hearing. There is one other thing that I do want to mention to you.
What's that?
I think you knew at the outset that this case was going to be televised, live streamed through various media outlets. And I want you to know that you have a right as a juror and as a private citizen. People may want to talk to you about this. Well, at this point, you can talk about it if you want to. That's totally within your discretion. It's my understanding that some of the media outlets may be outside
I
and
should have been
may
up
want to
there.
speak to you. That's solely up to you. I have no control over that. That's up to you. So when you see individuals who might be with the press or other outlets, that if you want to speak to them, that's fine. And if you don't want to speak to them, that's also fine. So there's nothing else I can tell you other than I sincerely appreciate your hard work in this case. I wish you well, and you are excused at this time. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, let's get into it. Hey, what's going on? I don't know what's going on with the eye twitching. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be in recess for about 10 minutes. And
Okay. Let's just take a look here. What is he telling his client? Saying, let's appeal. You can appeal. Don't let this man touch another criminal case. And I'm for real. Okay, which one? The blonde lady in the black shirt, is that the mom's sister? I asked about so many people. Okay, apparently listen to Nick's parents' impact statements. All right, we're going to get into it now, I think. Yeah, this is just Which one's the mom's sister? I don't remember. All right, Lori. Lori did her thing. Okay, what's going on here? I'm still getting through Nick's direct testimony. I listened to bits of it when I was at work today. What I'm not very clear about, I do not understand why Betsy and Frank III did not have a home of their own. And I also do not remember Frank IV's residence. Did he live in South Carolina or did he live in Georgia? I know there are ties to murder, X, Y, and Z, but I don't understand why Betsy and them did not have their own home. All right, let's see what's going on here. Oh, the father's crying. Oh, the father's crying. Yeah, where is the brother? That's what I'm saying. There's a disconnect here. I don't know what the disconnect is. Or maybe the brother believes that, Nick did this, but there's a disconnect. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's saying no hugging. Dang, officer, you could have let them hug that out. Look at officer or Agent Sands. Is that his name? Yeah, this is just I was curious to find out how Nick was going to explain how he was going to explain telling the parents that their daughter was at a hospital. And it's crazy. Again, I was listening to Nick's testimony today. Or was that yesterday? I don't know. Maybe it was the cross. I am baffled. I think that was cross-examination by the prosecutor. I'm baffled at the notion that Nick got his wife's ashes from a person on the side of the road in Alabama and he handed that person $5,000. It's not making sense. Let's see, what's Brooklyn saying? Doug asked him if he wants to make a statement, and he said, messed up taking the stand and more talking, no more. Wait, are you saying that Nick wanted to give a statement? Oh no, please no. No, 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 no. He's done enough talking.
Council ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everyone please be seated.
Yeah, this judge did not have issues. Shout out to the judge though. Yeah, this judge did not have many issues, but probably because the attorneys did not come with a lot of issues.
All right, in case number 2024 R67, the jury having reached a verdict of guilty as to all 12 counts in the indictment, is the state ready to proceed with sentencing?
The state is ready to proceed with sentencing, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
The defense is ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Does the state have evidence in aggravation?
Yes, Your Honor. The state intends to call two witnesses and one statement that I will ask Ms. Ashdown, our victim witness advocate, to read. So the state would call would the court like me to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, the state would call Megan Mevin to the stand.
Who's she?
Ms. Mevin will be speaking on behalf of the family of Mindy Mevin, Your Honor.
Okay. Is she like a sister?
Do you want her to be there?
I'll let- she might
That would be the
comfortable sitting.
sister-in-law. This would be Frank the Fourth's wife.
Please raise your right hand before you're seated.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
I just ran up the stairs, so sorry if I'm.
Just hold on. Just catch your breath.
Okay. Let's see.
All right.
All right. I've kept up with the entire trial and decided to drive 3 hours this morning to be here because I couldn't let this chapter of my life end without at least saying something. Unlike you, I have cried a lot over the last few weeks.
Okay.
My thoughts, anxiety, and emotions have been a roller coaster. They have been all over the place while having to deal with this trial. I go through anger, sadness, frustration, grief, stress, and every feeling that you can think of. You lived with us for 15 months with providing no financial contributions. 15 months that I will never be able to get back. At times when you lived with us, I told you how your actions had affected me, and this impact statement isn't much different. Whether you take away anything from this, that is not my intention at this point. You've shown no guilt and absolutely no remorse. You haven't even shed a tear. You thrive on the illusion of power and attention. You're a pathological liar, sociopath, psychopath, murderer. You thought you were so much smarter than everyone else, but you aren't. You wanted people to believe you were a victim of abuse, while you were the one being abusive, at least mentally. You have forever changed the meaning of trust for me and our family. I can no longer trust people in the same way as I did before you continuously lied and ultimately took Mindy's life. There will always be some questions that will go unanswered, but to answer them would mean to try to understand a murderer's mindset, and that is one I will never understand. Mindy was bright, beautiful, empathetic, confident, independent. She loved music, and making others feel special.
Aw.
She always put her family and friends first. Once my husband Frank and I had our daughter, Mindy wanted to choose a name that was different than the traditional aunt name. She decided on Lulu. She was never able to hear her sweet niece call her that.
This is difficult.
My daughter was 5 months old when y'all moved in. She will never know the fun times they experienced together. I'm thankful my daughter does not remember the 15 months you lived with us and sat right next to her at the dinner table.
Sheesh.
My daughter will never be able to experience the love her Aunt Mindy would have continued to give her.
Aw. Poor mom.
Mindy was taken too soon. No one should have to live through the violent and gruesome murder of a family member. You're a very evil man. When I learned the news of what really happened to Minnie, some of my first thoughts were that I couldn't believe that evil man lived in my house in a bedroom next to my 5-month-old daughter.
Mm.
You have no remorse for what you did. This loss has impacted so many beyond our family. The emotional wound you have caused will never heal. We have comfort knowing she is in heaven now, free from the trials and scars of this earth. We have overcome hatred, darkness, and evil. She is looking down on us now, being proud of how we have overcome. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives.
Mm.
Since I'm a science person, I'm going to quote Isaac Newton. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Our family believes you deserve the maximum sentence, life without the possibility of parole, because Mindy doesn't have a parole.
Oh.
You deserve to sit in prison for the rest of your life and think about Mindy every single day. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right. I have no real comments. I have no comments about the victim impact statement. That's their statement. All right, next person.
Your Honor, at this time the state would call Morgan Paddock.
Who's that? Another mom saying something.
You can raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right.
There are people literally all over this world that have been impacted by Mindy's life, and I'm here to speak on behalf of them. I always say my worlds collided with Mindy. Not only was she my high school friend, but after moving to Savannah, all of my college friends became her friends too. My roommates became her roommates. My church group became her church group. This entire trial has rightly been focused on what happened to Mindy, but Mindy was so much more than what happened to her.
Oh.
She was a bright light, vibrant, generous, funny, caring, a defender of others, passionate, trustworthy, and so much more. If anyone in her life would have been in her position, she would be standing right here today speaking for them. Nick, you slowly and strategically tried to dampen her light, isolating her from the people she deeply loved, robbing her of time, laughter, creating memories and peace, always living in fear and isolation. She loved you and trusted you to tell her the truth, to protect her, to live out your marriage vows. And yet you were the one that she needed protection from. Her death has had and will have an eternal impact on those that loved her. There are dinner tables and holiday pictures and memories that will be absent of her. There are little girls growing up without their fairy godmother. There are friends who will always ache to dress up and go out for drinks again. Email inboxes void of her opinions on the latest happenings in politics. Friends who can't expect her to stand with them in their proudest and hardest moments. Friends who won't have her in the audience of their concerts or harassing them for their latest released music. My everyday life in Savannah is now filled with the awareness that my friend was living and suffering within walking distance of my house.
Oh.
And I never knew. I will never be able to drive down 65th Street, go to a Smoothie King, pick up meds at CVS, or buy tennis shoes at our local shoe store without being haunted by the fact that you were frequenting all of those places for 5 months while my friend of over 20 years was suffering in fear and isolation as I drove mere feet from her driveway. But it's not just me and her friends that will miss out. This entire world is impacted by the ending of her life too soon. There are compelling women whose stories she will never get to tell on her podcast. There are strangers who will never know the beauty of the sound of her laughter or the impact of her most fiercest eye roll. Your conviction can't bring her back. It just means that you can't do it to anyone else. But every person you heard from on the stand and the many who are watching right now from a distance will never stop keeping the truth of who she was and her memory alive. You may have taken her life, but you will never be able to take her legacy, and she would want you to know that today.
Okay. I have no remarks. Let's see. Next. One. Yeah, Benji said these are difficult to listen to. Yeah, that was brutal.
Your Honor, the state has one final statement that I'm going to ask to be read into the record. That statement would be read by Ms. Samantha Ashdown, our victim witness advocate, on behalf of Samantha Koyesnik.
Wait, two Samantha? Oh, the third. The third wife. Okay.
Defendants will object to the reading of that statement as Ms. Kolyesnik, while obviously a victim of the circumstances here.
Yeah, I was about to say, why is she allowed to give a victim impact statement? But I don't know. Let's find out.
Not a victim under the law that would be entitled to read the statement to the court.
But Judge, my position on that, as the court is aware, is that this is evidence in aggravation, not a victim impact statement.
It is. I'll overrule the objection. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He tried though. What's his name? Weinstein. He tried because he did not lawyer at all in this trial. He did not lawyer at all in this trial. He was just, again, even as I was listening to some of the direct of Nick today, I could not believe some of the questions that Doug Weinstein was asking his clients.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a woman somewhere out here that's going to be writing Nick in prison.
There's no need to swear.
Maybe a man too.
To the court and to the Honorable Judge Rose. My name is Samantha Kolesnik, and I am a victim of the defendant, Nicholas Kossatis, aka Nicholas Stark, the latter of which is the name he used while victimizing me in Pennsylvania. You were able to hear my testimony against Nicholas during this trial, and you were able to hear and see my pain and my tears firsthand. I recounted his horrible acts of deception against me. I trembled taking the stand to testify. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I did it because I feel Nicholas is a true and constant danger to everyone he meets. I feel that if Given the chance, Nicholas will continue to exploit, abuse, deceive, and harm others.
Mm.
I testified knowing I would be filmed against my consent and that I would be humiliated in admitting I
It's
was
filmed against your consent. Let's move on.
defrauded by a man I met online and that my privacy would forever gone. I testified anyway because I strongly feel and believe that Nicholas is a danger to society and that he must be held accountable.
Okay.
Ms. Bayo, ADA for the prosecution, mentioned ripples from Nicholas's dropping stone as an analogy for an impact of his choices. I am one ripple. I have not been the same since I found out about his deception from Agent Sands, and I will never be the same again. On the date of his arrest, when Agent Sands of the GBI told me Nicholas Stark was not his real name and that Nicholas had been lying to me, my entire world turned upside down. My sense of trust shattered. I felt humiliated, deceived, traumatized, and unsure if I would ever be able to feel joy or hope or trust again. I also felt stupid and will continuously be called stupid and gullible by some in the public eye as a result of trusting a man, who was once a naval officer, a JAG, an employee of the Pentagon, a man who had every opportunity and privilege in life. Everyone trusted Nicholas, and he knew it, and he privately relished and delighted in lying to them and in abusing that trust. He is a man who delights in deception, a man who thinks he's smarter than everyone in the room he walks in. I also felt terrified beginning on the date of his arrest and thereafter, and will forever be haunted by what he would have potentially happened to me if the GBI and Detective Jack Frost's team had not tracked, found, and arrested Nicholas Stark, aka Kossatis, when they did. I fully believe that the wonderful law enforcement agencies of Georgia saved my life that day, and I will be forever grateful to them for saving me from the evil man who goes by many names, one of them being Nicholas Stark. I was diagnosed with PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, as a result of
I
Nicholas
go and
Stark's
write another
brutal
horror
actions
story
towards me.
again.
I have nightmares, flashbacks, and panic attacks. I lock my bedroom door every night. I do not feel deceived by Nicholas Stark, aka Kossatis. I feel raped by him.
Ooh.
I was not allowed to consent to a romantic and intimate relationship with Nicholas because he lied about his entire identity to me. There was no opportunity for true consent, and he ensured that with his vast network of lies. This is called rape by fraud, but unfortunately is not recognized in Pennsylvania, so all I could do was pursue an annulment on the basis of his fraud. I am sure Nicholas Stark, since he is a lawyer after all, knew those statutory limitations when he deceived me. I do not feel Nicholas feels 1 ounce of shame or remorse for his deceptions against many people, including those he perpetrated against me. He has sat in this courtroom and has attempted to make every mockery of it with his smug expressions, his arrogant demeanor, and his lack of tears as his victims, one after the other, have talked about how he deceived them. I beg and implore and plead to the court, please give this man the maximum sentencing. And please, if at all possible, by sentencing protocol and legislation, please do not allow this man to do paid interviews or in any way profit from his crimes. Nicholas, due to his sick need for control and his sadistic desire to humiliate and defraud others, will absolutely try to profit off his crimes in prison. Please do not allow Nicholas to write books or to sign movie deals or even take paid interviews. He must not be allowed to extract any more from the victims than he already has taken so much. I will also I also ask that he not be granted any chance for parole. A man who lies as much as Nicholas has and will always be a danger to society, especially the most trusting and vulnerable among us. Sincerely, Samantha Koliesnik.
Oh wow, Samantha. I have questions though. Does Samantha plan on writing books? Again, I was listening to Nick's direct when I was at work, and he talked about um what was his short story? I think my mother-in-law's trying to kill me or poison me or whatever it was. and he was talking about the how the genre or the dark what's it called, dark something, how it's exciting X, Y, and Z. I suppose Samantha probably had the same thoughts. That's why she wrote as many books as she did. That shit is no fun until it happens to you, or maybe it's fun until it actually happens to you. So I do not know that that girl's gonna write another dark story again. Maybe she moves on to romance or something else. Heck, I
Those
don't
are the
know.
only evidence of
Maybe
aggravation
Travis
that the
will.
state intends to present. Do you
Maybe
wish the
Rice will.
state's argument or
Who?
do you wish to have
I'll wait
mitigation
till I hear
first?
from the defense.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any evidence in mitigation?
Just like to present the defendant's mother to testify in mitigation.
You may.
Father, I'm sorry, father.
Okay.
One at a time. So two, witnesses, Your Honor. Defense calls Wayne Kossatis.
You can come up here, sir. That's fine.
Oh, how are you gonna come into the court and tell the judge what you want to do? Anyways,
Can we swear you in, sir?
Oh, absolutely.
now I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do.
Testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Absolutely. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Heard a lot of things in this courtroom this morning.
Okay.
Last over 2 years have been hell for all of us, including Nicholas. Although I don't agree with the verdict that was reached in this court that the jury reached,
All right.
I do respect the process. They have no idea who Nicholas was.
Who's they?
Nicholas is a kind, gentle man that has touched thousands of lives, both as a civilian and as a military person. Nobody saw pictures of him helping underprivileged children in South America as a naval officer.
Okay, so maybe I don't know. Maybe he should have put on that evidence.
Nobody saw him helping friends as he was growing up. He is truly a wonderful, kind person. And
Yeah, the brother is not buying that. I don't know what the relationship is here, but their brother, he wants no part of any of
kind
that.
person. And from the beginning, when this all broke, from the lies that Agent Sand told to family members,
Wait, what? Agent Sands lied? What did he lie about?
um, we never believed that this was possible. And we still do not believe that this is possible.
Okay.
We know the person sitting there, our son, as a kind and gentle person that would not do this. And there's really no evidence that showed that he did. I just want you to be considerate and
Be considerate.
look at the man who he is and who he always will be. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Kossatis. Thank you very much.
Look at Weinstein is something else.
Mother, Linda Kossatis.
Is this the adoptive mother?
Ma'am, you're welcome to stand here or you can go up there.
Stand here.
If you
Thank you.
please
Look
raise
at
your
what
right
her
hand.
husband did.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
What you said, Brooklyn?
Your Honor, I would like to say first how incredibly sorry we are for Mindy's family that they had to go through this. We have never spoken since we heard the news of Mindy's death, but we feel incredible sympathy for them.
Wait. So even when it was first announced, or I take it's Nick that was going around telling folks that his wife had passed. So even under those circumstances, the in-laws did not reach out to Mindy's parents and just offer their condolences. Something's off.
They lost their daughter,
What's with her face?
but Nicholas was not responsible for this. We know him to be a kind
These folks are gonna die heartbroken. I'm just telling you now.
and gentle person. As you know from the testimony, we had not been in touch with him for years
How's
through
that a problem?
circumstances beyond our control, and every member of our family suffered as a result of that. People missed him so desperately. My mother said she had never gone a Christmas without seeing or hearing from him. And suddenly he was gone from our lives and we had no idea why. This, I, he is a good and kind and gentle person. The thought that he could take someone else's life is just unbelievable, honestly. I respect the jury's work that they did, but they got this one wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's what I have to say. I did get a message from Callie about this earlier this morning. She told me that cannot find it. Cannot find it. It had something to do with Nick's mom making a statement. And again, oh, here we go. So Callie said that the sad part is that the mom is still pleading for leniency. And my response was that it's difficult for a parent to believe their a child would commit such a heinous crime. Denial will help his parents move on with their lives. Believing their son did that to Mandy would destroy them. So that is the position. I suppose the statements from the parents are not surprising to me just because I've worked in criminal courts and I've represented criminal defendants. Uh, Again, in order for them to be able to survive and move on, they have to live in denial. They just have to. Otherwise, the reality that their son dismembered his second wife is going to eat them up alive. It is going to destroy them. As far as the brother, I don't know. The brother, a brother has his own stuff going on. It's just,
Anything else, Mr.
yeah, there's a
Counsel?
disconnect there.
All right, this time I'll hear argument from counsel.
There's a
Madam Mayor?
disconnect.
Amen.
Hey, wait, hold on. Brooklyn says that what's his name? Nick can go on and make money. And I have no real position for or against that. I have a lot of problems to deal with. It's not something that is, you know, one way or another, I don't really care whether he makes money or not. Brooklyn says they didn't want to speak facing, oh, Mindy's parents, right? Because if they sat down, they'd be looking directly at them. That's a shame of it all. Brooklyn, she asked for life with parole. Nick's mom? Benji said their son is probably telling them that he didn't do it. Oh, without a doubt. The son's telling them he didn't do it. The story doesn't freaking make sense, though. The story did not make sense. Nick was a walking conviction from opening statements. He was probably a walking conviction from the moment he was interviewed by Agent Sands and, the rest of the GBI folks. So next week, I will not be live. I will get some, Alexa, stop. I will get some videos out. In my first video, because on one of the previous lives, I had talked about how I wanted to start a series called Shut the Fuck Up Fridays. We're going to start with Nick Kossatis because the one person that should have shut their mouth or should have known to shut their mouth from the very beginning was Nick Kossatis. That is not to say that he would have walked away. I mean, the evidence is really strong. I'm not suggesting that he should have walked, but he is afforded a constitutional right, and that's a constitutional right to shut the fuck up. I don't know why he decided to waive it, but he did. Um, yeah, I'm gonna record. This man will be up. He'll be our first shut the fuck up Friday because he did a whole lot of talking, and this man is not a lawyer. Like, sure enough, he went to law school, he's licensed X, Y, and Z, but everything else he did, I just no, 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 no. To see if I don't know. Let's move on because you guys know I like to talk trash. Let's move on. Alexa, stop.
Your Honor, this case is a case that the court has obviously spent the last 2 weeks present for and listening to all of the testimony. As a result, I don't plan to go over any of that.
Okay.
I think Morgan may have said it best when she described how Mindy and her life impacts the world. When a sentence is rendered, I think the court has always, and I think I've even heard you say, has to evaluate not just how it impacts the defendant, but the message of rehabilitation, if possible, versus punishment, if necessary. The law in the state of Georgia entitles on a murder conviction only 3 options, essentially: the death penalty, life without parole, or life with the possibility of parole. In this case, Your Honor, the defendant is additionally facing all of the additional crimes that can run consecutively. That would be the concealing death of another, which he faces up to 10 years, possession of a knife during commission of a felony, which is mandatory 5 years consecutive, although it could be, of course, probated. And then all of the counts of possession of tools for the commission of the crime that he's facing up to 5 years for each of those. And then the 2 misdemeanors are, of course, up to 12 months. That is more than what I would refer to as natural life. The state's position, Your Honor, is that the defendant should never be released from prison, that he is a danger to society, that his testimony before this court under oath was fraud, that he was dishonest, that he perjured himself. And that, of course, is the state's position. I'm sure counsel for the defense would disagree. And I think that goes to the question, however, of whether or not there is remorse or whether there is some.
The most reaction that I have seen from Nick as we've been watching this, I've seen him react to Samantha taking the stand. So that makes me believe what I mean by react is that there was a change in his demeanor. And I believe his face, it was not exactly red or pink, but it got a little rosy as Samantha was on the stand. And again, I saw a similar reaction when the victim advocate, took the stand and read Samantha's statement, right? So maybe he's still fond of her, has feelings for her, and the like. Other than that, I've not really seen much of a reaction from Nick. And I think the twitching, it might be him trying to cry. I don't know. I'm no expert. So that's what I'm thinking. Or maybe he just has a tick that goes off.
Validation to something less than life without parole. The jury has now determined that he not only killed his wife, but that he threw her out like garbage across 3 miles with the hope that no one would ever catch him. If that depravity could not be any worse conduct to deserve life without the possibility of parole, I don't know what could. But for the good work of members of law enforcement, all of the teams that worked so hard to run every detail down, we would not be here today. And so, Your Honor, it is the state's position that the defendant in this case should get the maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole. The state will defer to the court with respect to all of the other counts, as I essentially believe that they are, you can't get more than forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tatum.
Your Honor, the jury has rendered its verdict. While obviously we don't agree with that, we understand that is your obligation to sentence him under that verdict. Mr. Kossatis is a highly educated man.
Mm.
He's a man that served his country honorably. You've heard a lot of testimony, not just from his parents, but from witnesses on the stand of his kindness. I think there is an opportunity for rehabilitation in this case, especially given his past. So I would ask the court to sentence him to life with the possibility of parole. Those other counts that can be served concurrently, that the sentence have them served concurrently. I understand there's one count that must be consecutive. So that's the position of the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, that was decent. That was decent mitigation by Weinstein, but the facts and the crime, it's just too grave, very heinous.
Mr. Weinstein, your client has the right to address the court if he so chooses.
Was it one?
Let me verify. He will not be addressing the court, Your Honor.
Then have him stand for sentencing. Mr. Kossatis, a jury of 12 citizens in Liberty County, Georgia, has now determined beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty of the offense of murder, along with 11 other counts. This jury has spoken very clearly. It is now my duty under the law to impose a sentence that is consistent with that verdict. And it's also my duty to look at the evidence and weigh the sufficiency of that evidence. And sir, the evidence in this case is supported
Yeah, that evidence.
by a mountain of compelling evidence.
All right.
This case has revealed a level of depravity that truly shocks the conscience. To put together this elaborate scheme, this web of lies, creating this fictional character, Jim McIntyre, who does not exist.
Yeesh. Well, the parents, obviously, if the father's saying, no, Jim is real, he exists. That's why he's shaking his head.
Web of lies, creating this fictional character, Jim McIntyre, who does not exist. You wrote fiction, and your life was a fiction, at least the last 6 or 7 years. And then you carried out, or the evidence shows that you carried out a brutal, horrific.
That's what I've wondered. I wondered if Mindy was incapacitated, right? I just don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it alone.
Gruesome murder of Mindy, someone who's been described by various witnesses as beautiful, kind, loving, vibrant, smart. And all of her hopes and dreams vanished in an instant. Her life tragically cut short by you. Someone who professed to love her, to care for her. Just the ultimate betrayal. And then you desecrated her body in such a vile way, discarding her remains out in a rural area of Liberty County, hoping that They would never be discovered.
Yeah.
This shows beyond all doubt that you have no conscience. When I described to this jury this morning the elements of the crime of malice murder, the language used in the Georgia statute is that the circumstances show an abandoned and malignant heart.
Mm.
That describes you. You have caused so much harm to your own family,
Right.
to all of those who have been impacted by your deeds. This is truly a heinous crime. So the court has considered all the facts and circumstances of the case. And the court will now impose sentence that reflects the gruesome nature of your criminal conduct. As to count one, malice murder, the court hereby imposes a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. Although you've been convicted in count two of felony murder, that count would merge into count one. As to count three, the sentence of the court for aggravated assault is 20 years to serve in the state penitentiary, and it runs consecutively.
Benji said Nick's parents are something else. Yeah, it's difficult to believe that your kid would do something like that. It's just because this is not one of those, oh, he stabbed somebody, he you know, embezzled money. He literally dismembered his wife, dismembered her, and then scattered her body parts in some rural part out there in Georgia. That is just, I guess,
To count
depraved.
one. Count four, concealing the death of another. The sentence of the court is 10 years.
And I don't know how. Yeah, the parents are definitely in denial because Nick's story does not make sense one bit.
To run concurrently to count one. Count five, possession of a knife during the commission of a felony. It's required to be consecutive. So the court imposes a sentence of 5 years consecutive to count one. As to count six, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, the court imposes a sentence of 5 years to serve,
I'd like to hear from Nick's brother though.
and that shall run concurrently to the other counts. Court will impose the same sentence on count seven, 5 years to serve, running concurrently. As to count eight, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, again, the court will impose a sentence of 5 years to run concurrently. As to count nine, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, the court imposes a sentence of 5 years, again, to serve concurrently. As to count 10, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, the court imposes a sentence of 5 years to be served concurrently. Counts 11 and 12 are both misdemeanors. They carry a maximum sentence of 12 months. The court will impose a sentence of 12 months as to each count, counts 11 and 12, and they shall run concurrently. The totality of the sentence being a sentence of life without parole plus 20 years to serve. Sir, you have a right to seek post-judgment relief from your convictions of these crimes. And you can do that by filing a motion for new trial or filing a direct appeal to the appellate court. That will have to be filed within 30 days of today's date with the clerk of Superior Court in Liberty County, Georgia. If a motion for new trial is made and the court denies it, you will then have 30 days from the filing of that order to file with the clerk a notice of appeal to the appellate level. You also have a right to file a petition for habeas corpus. And that would have to be filed within 4 years of the date that the sentence and judgment in this case is deemed to be final. If you cannot afford an attorney to pursue your appellate relief, a lawyer will be appointed for you, and I'm sure that Mr. Weinstein will discuss with you all of your appellate rights. Is there anything else that needs to be placed on the record before the defendant is remanded to custody?
Your Honor, I just want to clarify.
All right, that's it. There's nothing else here. So he has been convicted. I wonder, there's a Doug Weinstein interview. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, this is a pretty interesting case. This Mickey Stein's case. I don't know if you know about this case, Benji, but this is, I believe he was a sheriff that ended up shooting and killing a judge in his chambers. If I remember correctly, the two of them just had lunch that same day. There was some allegations swirling around about the judge potentially having had contact or allegedly having had contact with the sheriff's minor daughter. I don't know how true that is, but those were the rumors that were swirling at the time. I want to see. I thought Doug Weinstein was interviewed. Let's see. 11 hours. They have too many videos. Too many videos. 11 hours. Koberger. Core TV. Doug Weinstein. Let's see. I was recommended a video. Or was that just an article? Let's add the word fear. Was that just a recommendation? Hold on, that was on my phone. Ouch. That was on my. Why do they have what's his name up here? What's that man's name? Alec Murdaugh. Why was that recommended to me? Okay, let's see. Let's say Doug Weinstein. Let's say client in fear. I remember seeing something along those lines. Nope. Was that just an article? I thought it was a video for sure. Hold on. Let me get back on my phone. Okay, I guess we can listen to the judge while I try and find. No, I'm sharing the same screen. Hold on. Doug. My phone's about to go off. Doug Weinstein. Client in fear. I should have clicked on the video. I can no longer find it. Can't find it, but it's over. It is over. It's over. It's over. And I guess to some extent, maybe Mindy's parents have closure. Maybe. I don't know that they do. But that might be, how things work out for them. Benji says he saw the video, not the full video, but the build up and the story. Okay, got it. And then you also saw the police cam footage to where he's paranoid that the police are gonna kill him. Yeah, that's an interesting case. Maybe that's where we go somewhere somehow. They're probably, how do I take this off? Is that it? There we go. Yeah. So maybe the case goes to trial in a year. If it does, I'm definitely interested to figure out, not to figure out, but to find out what exactly was going on because I'm nosy. That said, though, I am gonna call it a night. Have a good weekend, Benji. Shout out to the replay crew. Shout out to Brooklyn. There was somebody else in here. I don't know who it was, but shout out to you. As for next week, though, maybe I go Tuesday. It depends on the cases. Depends on the cases that will be live streamed next week. I suppose we move on to Donna Adelson. Jury selection in a trial begins on the 19th. No, Benji, next week I can't do it. I cannot do it next week. No live stream next week. Tuesday, I'm a bit on the fence, but to be on the safe side, let's just say no live stream. Um, Thursday, I'm watching a WNBA game live in person. I'm going to be yelling and screaming my lungs out. I'll be drinking some beer in the process. Yeah, so next week I'm not, no, next week I'm parenting. I'm parenting. My daughter's getting ready to go back to school, so we're just gonna be hanging out a little bit. Yeah, so that's where we are. But I do plan on Benji said what team? Benji's trying to find out where I am. Benji's trying to find out where I am. Um so yeah, next week I'm parenting. Benji said, "Oh, is that too much info?" My favorite team is the Chicago Sky. I absolutely love the Chicago Sky. Okay. Those are my people. Those are my girls. Some folks were ejected. I need to um, watch the recap. Some players were ejected. They were out there squabbling on the court. So yeah, that's where we are, Benji. I will record the game. I'll record parts of the game. I'll put it up here. Or maybe I'll just take a picture. Yeah, that might be what I do. Maybe I'll just take a picture. All right, so you have a good weekend, Benji. I'm gonna be doing my regular stuff. I'm gonna do my laundry tomorrow. I'm gonna drink me a little beer. I'm gonna fold my laundry, and then we'll see where the rest of the weekend takes me. But be safe out there, and then we shall reconvene. I will post videos though, Benji. I will not be live, but I'll post some videos. Um, I'll post like one or two videos. So let me not bite off more than I can chew. One or two videos, get going, and then we'll take it from there. All right, all right, all right. Bye, Benji. Have a good night.